Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Arihi Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Kajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Kasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignobhashantaye Yasyat Virada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nighnanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. With Swami's grace, let us continue from where we left off last time. We came up to Krutiratmavan. Isvaro Vikrami Dhanvi Medhavi Vikramakramaha Anuttamo Duradharshat Krutagnya Krutiratmavan. We will take up Slokam number 10. Suresascharanam sharma Visvaretah prajabhavaha Ahat samvatsaro vyalaf Pratyayas sarvadarshanaha. Suresaha sharanam sharma Visvaretaha prajabhavaha Ahaha Samvatsaraha Vyalaha Pratyayaha Sarva Darshanaha. Suresaha Suresasaranam Sharma. Suresaha Sura Isaha. Sura means we call them as Devas. Devas are any impulse, any tendency, any action, any thought, any force that does benefit to us, that is beneficial. Benefit means anything that takes us to the lotus feet. That is the good thing. That is always the beneficial thing. Things that take us away from the lotus feet are non-beneficial. Suraha, or every single tendency, every single thought that takes us towards the lotus feet. Ishaha, the master, the Lord of all that, Suresaha, and always beneficial. Bhagavan is Shankaraya Namaha, we tell him, one who does only benefit to us. That's Sureshaha. He is the master. He is the master of all those tendencies because he is always activating and putting those forces in place to draw each one of us to him only. Even when we move away from him, he brings us back to him. That is Sureshaha. Sharanam. Sharanam, immediately we think of surrender. Like that is, but what is it actually when you surrender to him? And as Sankara Bhagavad says, Sharanam means in this world is Anityam Asukam Imam Lokam. It says in Bhagavad Gita. This world is not only temporary, anityam, ashukam, it is full of misery only. Even though we have some bouts of temporary happiness, it is always miserable, full of difficulties, worries, so many challenges we all have. We are not fundamentally very peaceful and we are all in a state of bliss. So all the difficulties, all the challenges, all the miseries that we have, the place, that entity that removes all that, that eradicates all that, that wipes out completely all our difficulties and miseries that we have, that is Sharanaha. That is why Mamekam Sharanam Prapadhye, Swami says that. And in Bhagavad Gita, the place where we take our miseries to, and what happens to the miseries, what happens to us worries when we take it to him, they get removed. Because he takes care of that. That is Sharanam. Now, the another thing very beautifully Parasara Bhattar explains this and enjoys this. If you remember, this is a personal experience of Bhagavan, the various infinite aspects of Him. Each one of us can and must experience it the way that appeals to each one of us. It is not appropriate to take somebody else's experience and try to make it our own. It will not work. We have to experience it ourselves. Parasara Bhattar experiences it as saying it's a ubhayam. That is, Sharanam means not only is he, how do you go to the lotus feet? What prompts you to go to the lotus feet? So when the challenges come, when the miseries come, we look for succor, we look for solace, we look for a remedy, right? So the Bhagavan is so much full of love that as in Sri Rudram it's very clearly described. He not only creates the miseries and makes you cry, but he also wipes your tears also, because only when you cry the tears can be wiped out. Only when you suffer you know that that is not the right path. The path is somewhere else. So that ubhayam is also Sharanam. Sure Sat Sharanam Sharma. Sharma. Now we have, some people are called Sharma and all that. And Sharma means immediately we think Brahmin. Actually, no. Sharma actually means one who is the embodiment of bliss, embodiment of Paramanandam. That is Sharma. And he not only is Anandaya Namaha, he is also Anandadaya Namaha. So he is not only Paramanandam, he is also the one who gives Paramanandam to others also, because that is his nature. His nature is to share the bliss and share the love. That is the nature of prema, of bliss, of Sharma. Okay, Sharma is Paramanandam. Its nature is expansion, and nature is to sharing, all inclusive. So that is Sharma. Sure Sat Sharanam Sharma. Visvaretaha. Visvaretaha. Now, when you look at this whole universe, it's amazing. If you just take less than a minute to marvel at the order of things that seemingly look like they are chaotic, right? Everywhere, including our own body, there are so many billions and billions of cells are there, billions and billions of neurons are moving around. Everything follows a certain order, so things work, things operate. And what is the cause that makes all this happen? That the cause of the causation of all this is Visvaretaha. Now, another beautiful thing, putting it on a very personal basis, as Parasara Bhattar explains it very nicely, says, why do you just think for a second? We are all engrossed always in achieving something, not living in the present moment, always looking to the future or living in the past, right? Seldom we live in the present moment. And in that process, we are so engrossed in our own selves. And what is this our own self? We take this to be the body. And what is this body? You think about it. So we have got Pancha Jnana Indriyangal, the 5 senses of perception. Okay? The 5 senses of perceptions are the senses. The senses are nothing but tools, right? And they got a certain capability and unidimensional capability and power they have been given, tools to be used. And what are those 5 Pancha Jnana Indriyangal? You got eyes, you got ears, you got nose, you got mouth, and you got skin. And each one does the Jnana Indriyangal, that means senses of perception. They perceive. We perceive this world that we live in through these 5 senses. And if you look at it, the sense of eye, the tool of eye, is through that we see things. Ears, one second, hold on. Through the eyes we see things, ears we hear things, through the nose we smell, through the mouth tongue we taste, through the skin we touch. Just imagine, these are the 5 the gateways, if you would, with which we perceive the world that we live in. And you all know what happens when we lose one of these senses, right? And that particular ability to perceive through that, if you lose your eyesight, you cannot see things, right? So we know this is the 5 tools that have been given to us to perceive the world that we live in. After perceiving it, what should we do? We have to act. And for that, Bhagavan has given us Pancha Karma Indriyangal, the 5 tools of action. And the actions are vision, okay, hearing, speaking through the mouth, and the act of procreation or progeny, and the act of excretion. This is what the body is, nothing more than that. 5 senses of perception it has got. It's like a machine, and it can do 5 things. That's all the body can do. It can see, it can hear, it can speak, and it can procreate, and it can excrete. All the 5 actions are important. While perceiving in this world through the 5 senses of perception, we also have to engage the 5 tools of action to act in the world that we live in. Now, why has this been given to us? This is the Ubhayam. All the 5 senses of perception and the 5 senses of actions have been given to us in order to realize Bhagavan. Visvaretaha. He is the cause for all this. He's been given to us. He has given us the tools, and then He has given us additional tools like the mind, like the buddhi, like the ahamkaram. All the tools have been given to us in order for us to realize Him. That is why He is the Visvaretaha. In the body that is just jointed with these various senses of action and senses of perception and pulled and pushed by the mind and guided by the buddhi, all these are tools given to us to realize Him. That is Visvaretaha. Prajabhavaha. The Prajabhavaha, that you know, for all the prajas, He is the cause, He is the reason, He is why all the progeny, all the creations and people are born. Prajai. So all the growth and the birth and the growth of all the prajas, Prajabhavaha. And why does He do this? Parasara Bhattar says, why are people born? And why do they grow and then decline? What is the reason for all this? Visvaretaha. The only reason is for us to realize Him. To put it on a personal basis, you are born so that you can conduct yourself in such a way that you are never born again. That is the reason, and that is Visvaretaha Prajabhavaha. That is the play, that is a leela, that is a game that is being enacted, and the only rule is to give love and share love. And once I realize it and put that into practice, then I will have no birth after that. This is the fundamental modus operandi for Visvaretaha and Prajabhavaha. Why are you born? Why am I born? Why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to do between the time I'm born and the time I pass on? I leave the body and move on. What is it I'm supposed to do? What is the objective of this project? If you look at it that way, what am I supposed to do? Is it to accumulate wealth? No. Is it to accumulate friends? No. Accumulate fame? No. Accumulate reputation? Whatever, power, none of those things matters. In the company, in the Sannidhanam of Bhagavan, these are irrelevant. They are not only not negligible, they actually don't matter at all. They matter zero. What matters is the sharing of one's hridayam, operating on the basis of one hridayam, love, prema. That is the only reason. The more loving one conducts himself, thinks and speaks and acts in a loving way, the closer one becomes to the lotus feet. And that is the modus operandi between Visvaretaha and Prajabhavaha. The whole Maya and Leela Maya as described in Advaitic philosophy, which is intellectual explanation, and Leela as given Visishtadvaitic philosophy, all this really point out to Visvaretaha, Prajabhavaha, the basic modus operandi, the operating principle that we must, sooner or later, we must realize and conduct ourselves according to that principle, according to the rule, according to the law that is taking place. Inviolable law it is. The sooner I become consonant with it and align myself with that, the better the journey will be, and the more beneficial the purpose of my birth will be. That is the fundamental message from Visvaretaha Prajabhavaha. Ahas samvatsaro vyalav pratyayas sarvadarshanaha. Ahaha. Aha means day. And the moment you think of day, what do you think of? It's bright, isn't it? It is illumined. It is effulgent, right? The day is never dark. So he is always effulgent, just like the day. Everything he shines. Bhagavan shines even in darkness. And this is the beauty. There is no darkness in Bhagavan at all. Full of effulgence, full of light. Light does not mean only limited to our vision. Please understand that. Even the knowledge that shines within you, right? Then you don't understand something, next moment you put effort and understand it and realize it. What happens there? The light is shining there, isn't it? So that effulgence is there in everything. And that is aha. Samvatsaraha. Samvatsaram, one meaning is we call it as year, right? And this current Samvatsaram in our calendar is Durmukhi Samvatsaram, right? Samvatsaranam, Durmukhi Nama Samvatsare, we say like that. But that is one meaning of Samvatsaram, one revolution around the sun. Earth makes one revolution around the sun, we call it Samvatsaram. It also means it is in the form of time. Kalarupan, that is also another meaning of Samvatsaran. And the one who is in the form of time itself. Now, what is the form of time? Can you give a form to time itself? No. But we all know that so-called time, this column, is actually exists. We all know that, right? We can relate to it. And even though it's invisible, even though it's intangible, it is very much there. We all know that. And that form of that intangible thing that he appears like time, and even though time itself is also imaginary, okay, and there's no existence for Kalan. It's only Bhagavan who is Kala Titaya Namaha, who is the only one who is present. But in this in this imagination that we all have, we have give a certain form to time, and that form is Samvatsaraha. The beauty of this time is such is that we all sometimes think, oh my God, time is going to end, my life is going to end, and time is allotted time is ended, and all this thing. No. On the contrary, you must look at it with a different perspective, a slight paradigm shift. Then you see the beauty of Bhagavan in all its splendor. His Samvatsaram is the time is endless. Okay, what is the beginning of time? What is the end of time? Who can say that? Time is endless. And it's a continuous flow. At the same time, it's a constant entity that does not move. Okay, it is both. And the interesting thing is, I appear as a speck in this flow of time, this cosmos of time, and then I vanish as a speck. That's all. But the beauty is, while I've got my five senses of perception and five senses of action and mind and buddhi and my life force and my body is activated, right? Moving about, doing things and imagining things. My mind is imagining. All this effulgence is going on. The beauty is, along with me, inseparable from me, there is something that is always existing. Always residing with me, and that is Bhagavan, that is Samvatsaraha. Along with time, the one who is constantly present That is Samvatsaraha. Why is he present? We all know that Bhagavan is within us. Each one of us knows, whether we acknowledge it or not, at some point in time we know there is this entity, there is this prema that is there, right? And it never leaves us alone. It's always guiding us, always supporting us, always protecting us, always giving us assurance, confidence, right? Courage, so many things. But it never leaves us, it never changes. And why does he do this? Why is Bhagavan keeping my company all the time? Even though I don't keep his company all the time. Why is he doing that? Out of tremendous love. Because he wants to resurrect, he wants to save, he wants to take me to him. Always he has extended his hand to lift me up from this samsaram, from this ocean of samsaram. And that along with this inseparable from time is always present. That is Samvatsaraha. He says, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, for the man to attain me, he needs wisdom. He needs buddhi. And I have given him that buddhi, that discriminating ability. I've gifted him with that. Using that as an effective tool, he can reach me, he can come back home. And I have given him that, he says that. And not only that, when he uses it buddhi as a tool, and rides a vehicle of buddhi, rides a vehicle of wisdom in his life, what happens? I actually support him, help him, and lift him up so he can reach my lotus feet. That is Samvatsaraha, who is present all the time, inseparable and constantly and continuously with time. Ahat Samvatsaro Vyalaha. Vyalaha means one who cannot be controlled or grasped, one who doesn't, is not bound, is not controlled by anything other than, of course, the love of a devotee that we know. And Pratyayaha, Vyalaha, Pratyayaha. Pratyayaha is we all take pride in our intelligence, we all take pride in our knowledge, in our ability to understand things, ability to speak, ability to sing, so many things that we do, and we take a certain sense of pride in that, which is wrong, right? But we all do that. But have you ever thought for a second, when I understand something, when so-called IQ, the intelligent quotient is there, what is it that's causing me to understand that? What is the intelligence that is present in my intelligence? That jnanam, that is pratyayaha. He is a Brahman, most expansive, Sat Chit Ananda. I say Chit, the Chaitanya Swarupam, the thing that is present as what we call as knowledge, right? The source of knowledge itself is Bhagavan, and present all over, everywhere, within me, outside me, everywhere it is present. And we understand using our limited intelligence, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then we take pride in that fact. But the interesting thing is, before I learn to know something, before I understand something, that knowledge already existed. And the only difference is, the moment I understand it, the moment I know it, that portion of that knowledge has revealed itself to me. That's all. That's all. There's nothing for me to jump up and down about. The knowledge is so supreme, so vast, and so complete that none of us can really understand it. We can only experience it. It chooses to reveal that part of it, that infinitesimal portion of it that I seek to discover. That's all. If I seek to discover its wholeness completely, it will reveal itself to me. And that is beyond my intelligence. That is anubhavam. That is only experience. So Bhagavan is beyond understanding, is only can be experienced, and that is love, and that is love only. It can never be understood, but it can be experienced. The moment you experience love, you know, you have a knowledge, right? And the more you get involved in it, the more loving you become, the vast your life becomes, and happier it becomes, and the deeper you get into that ocean. Still, it's unfathomable till we merge one with it. It's impossible to know it being separated from it. It's impossible. That is pratyayaha. Pratyayaha is an unfathomable, the depth and the vastness of the ocean of prema that Bhagavan is. Sarva darshanaha. Pratyayaha sarva darshanaha. This you all know what the meaning is. One immediate understanding is, yes, sarva darshanaha, one who sees everything, right? Where does Bhagavan see everything? No, we want to understand things. We say Bhagavan has got eyes, Sahasrakshaha, we say, infinite eyes, we say like that. What does it mean? Every human being that you see, you come across, has got eyes. Those eyes are looking at you. When you see someone, that someone sees you. So that is Bhagavan looking at you. Every animal that you see, whether a dog or a cat or a worm or even a cockroach, it doesn't matter, right? If there's a cockroach in the house and I go close to it, what happens? Does it stay still? No, it tries to run away because it sees me, right? It's aware of me, it sees me. That is Bhagavan looking at me. And even the table that you look at, we call it as the lifeless. On the contrary, sarvam sajivam, everything is full of Chaitanya force only, full of life force only, including a piece of stone, including a speck of sand. Please remember that. When I look at it, that is also looking at me. Sarva darshanaha, everything that we see in the external world is looking at me. That is Bhagavan in that particular form. Inside of me, the thoughts that I have going through my mind, the desires I have, whether it is my anger or hatred or good thoughts or bad thoughts or comforting thoughts or agitations or whatever I have, who is witnessing all this? How do I know that I have got all these thoughts? I'm not able to look at it with my eyes, but they are happening inside me. Who is looking at it? Sarva darshanaha. That is Bhagavan. So when we say he is the witness, he is the sakshi, please, that is the truth. Both inside and outside. Nothing escapes his ken. Nothing escapes his vision. Because he is all. He is everything. He is all of it in all places, at all times, in all ways. Nothing is can escape Bhagavan's vision. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Please remember that. That is Sarva Darshanaha. Suresascharanam Sharma Visvareta Prajabhavaha Ahat Samvatsaro Vyalaf Pratyayas Sarva Darshanaha. We will close with that today and continue with Bhagavan's grace next Sunday. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.